Your brain thinks an unanswered text could kill you. It sounds ridiculous, but to your brain, it makes perfect sense. Thousands of years ago, one wrong decision could mean you never came home. The people who survived weren't always the strongest. They were the ones who expected danger before it appeared. That ancient survival system is still running inside your head. The problem is, the world changed. Your brain didn't. Today, there are no tigers hiding behind your emails. No predators inside a missed phone call. No life or death threat inside someone's delayed reply. Yet your brain reacts as if there is. That's why a 5-second conversation can replay for 5 days. An awkward silence becomes a warning. A small mistake becomes a disaster. An unanswered message becomes a story. Your brain keeps rewriting, not because it's true, because uncertainty feels dangerous. Here's something most people never realize. Your brain cannot clearly distinguish physical danger from social danger, rejection, embarrassment, uncertainty, failure. They all activate many of the same survival circuits. To your nervous system, being ignored can feel surprisingly similar to being threatened. Not because you're weak, because your brain was built to overestimate danger. For most of human history, that strategy worked better. To panic over a shadow, then ignore a predator. The cost of a false alarm was tiny. The cost of missing a real one was everything. So, evolution rewarded brains that asked one question over and over and over again. What if? What if something's wrong? What if they meant something else? What if you made a mistake? What if this changes everything? That question helped your ancestors survive. Today, it often keeps you awake at 2 in the morning. Imagine you receive a message. Can we talk later? That's it. No explanation, no emoji, nothing else. One person reads it, puts the phone away, and continues living their day. Another person reads the exact same message and spends the next 6 hours trying to decode every possible meaning. Same message, different nervous system. Why? Because overthinking isn't created by intelligence. It's created by uncertainty. Your brain would rather believe a terrible answer than no answer at all. Because certainty, even painful certainty, feels safer than the unknown. So your mind starts filling in the blanks again and again and again. Every replay feels like progress. It isn't. It's your brain running the same emergency drill without ever finding the emergency. And here's where almost everyone makes the mistake that keeps the cycle alive. They fight their thoughts. They argue with every worry. They search for perfect answers. They believe more thinking will finally make them feel safe. But it doesn't. It has the opposite effect. It's like scratching a mosquito bite. For one moment, it feels better. A minute later, it's worse. Every time you feed the loop, your brain learns something. This must be important. Otherwise, why would we keep thinking about it? And tomorrow, the alarm rings, even louder. But something remarkable happens. The moment you stop becoming the thought and simply notice it, that tiny shift changes everything. Because the fastest way to weaken the loop isn't by answering it. It's by recognizing that you're inside it. And that's where real freedom begins. Imagine You're standing beside a river. Leaves float gently across the surface, one after another. They pass by. Now imagine jumping into the water, trying to catch every single leaf. You'd exhaust yourself long before the river stopped flowing. That's exactly what most people do with their thoughts. Every worry appears, and they chase it. They analyze it, question it, argue with it, defend against it, hour after hour. The river keeps flowing. The goal was never to stop the river. The goal was to stop jumping in. Here's the first habit. The next time you notice the same thought returning, don't answer it, don't solve it, don't fight it. Simply say, "This is the loop." Not, "I'm anxious." Not, "Something is wrong with me." Not, "Why can't I stop thinking?" Just, "This is the loop." That sentence creates distance. For the first time, you're no longer inside the thought. You're watching it. Psychologists call this metacognition, the ability to observe your own thinking. It sounds simple inside your brain. It's powerful. The emotional alarm starts losing its authority. The thought still exists, but it no longer controls you. Imagine hearing a smoke detector. You hear it. You check the room. There's no smoke. The alarm doesn't disappear, but neither does your calm. That's the difference. You're responding instead of reacting. Now, here's something your brain never tells you. Every time you replay a memory, you're not remembering it. You're editing it. Picture making a photocopy, then copying that copy, then copying the next one, again and again and again. Each version loses detail. Each version adds distortion. Your memories work the same way. The awkward conversation becomes more awkward. The mistake becomes bigger. The silence becomes heavier. Eventually, you're no longer remembering what actually happened. You're remembering your last replay dot. And that's the version your brain starts believing. Here's a question that can stop a spiral in seconds. Ask yourself, am I solving this or replaying it? Those sound similar. They're opposites. Problem solving moves forward. Rumination moves in circles. One creates progress. The other creates exhaustion. Here's the test. Can you name one genuinely new piece of information you've discovered in the last 5 minutes? If the answer is no, you're no longer thinking. You're rehearsing. And rehearsals never end unless someone calls cut. There's another reason. Your brain keeps returning to unfinished worries. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. Your mind holds on to unfinished tasks more tightly than finished ones. That's why an unanswered message can feel louder than 10 conversations that ended perfectly, not because it's more important, because it's still open. Your brain hates open loops, so give it a boundary. Instead of saying, "I'll think about this all day," say, "I'll decide at 6 o'clock." Something remarkable happens. The problem doesn't disappear, but the urgency begins to. Your nervous system finally hears something it's been waiting for. Not certainty. A boundary, and boundaries calm the brain far more effectively than endless analysis. But even if you master everything we've covered, there's another trap. One that feels productive, responsible, even intelligent, yet it quietly feeds the entire cycle. Most people never notice they're doing it. And once you see it, you'll never look at overthinking the same way again. Here's the part most people never discover. Overthinking doesn't begin with the first anxious thought. It begins long before that thought ever appears. Your nervous system sets the stage. Imagine your phone battery at 100%. A notification barely matters. At 3%, every vibration feels urgent. Your brain works the same way. When your nervous system is already exhausted, one unanswered message, one unexpected email, one awkward conversation can feel like the final straw. Not because it's objectively important, because your capacity is already depleted. Think about how most days begin. Before your feet touch the floor, you've checked your phone, messages, news, emails, social media. Your attention is pulled in 10 directions. Before breakfast, then comes work, more decisions, more notifications, more conversations, more uncertainty. By evening, your brain hasn't just been working, it's been defending all day. Without realizing it, you've left your internal alarm running. No wonder it reacts to the smallest spark. Here's why. True rest isn't a luxury. It's maintenance, not entertainment, not distraction. Maintenance. 5 minutes without a screen, a walk without headphones, sitting quietly without reaching for another notification. At first, it feels uncomfortable. Your brain expects stimulation. It expects another problem to solve. Stay there just a little longer because something remarkable starts happening. The alarm begins to quiet down. Not because life suddenly became easier, because your nervous system finally received permission to stop scanning for danger. Now, look back at everything we've covered. Naming the loop doesn't remove uncertainty. It removes automatic identification. Writing thoughts down doesn't solve every problem. It stops your brain from carrying the same thought all day. Moving your body doesn't eliminate anxiety. It changes the physical state that keeps the loop alive. Setting boundaries doesn't guarantee the perfect decision. It tells your nervous system this problem has a place. Seeking less reassurance doesn't create certainty. It builds confidence. One small decision at a time. Every habit works for the same reason. Not because it changes the world, because it changes your relationship with uncertainty. And that's the real breakthrough. Your goal was never to eliminate anxious thoughts. No one can do that. Your goal is to stop treating every thought like a command. Thoughts are visitors, not rulers. Some deserve your attention. Most do not. You don't have to fight every thought. You don't have to believe every prediction. You don't have to answer every question. Your brain invents. Sometimes the healthiest response is simply to notice and let it pass. Right now, think about the thing you've been replaying today. That conversation, that decision, that message. Ask yourself one question. Am I discovering something new? Or is this just the loop, asking for one more lap? If it's the loop, you already know what to do. Name it, step back, let it pass. Because every time you refuse to feed the alarm, you teach your brain something new. You teach it that uncertainty is survivable. And over time, that's how a loud mind becomes a quiet one. Not overnight, not perfectly, but consistently. One interruption at a time. There's one more pattern, hidden beneath all of this. Even after people escape overthinking, many still keep sabotaging their own future. Not because they're lazy, because their brain is trying to protect them from discomfort. It's the same survival system, wearing a different mask. And once you understand that, you'll never look at procrastination the same way again. The next video reveals why your brain betrays your future self and why willpower is almost never the real problem. I'll see you there.